Welcome to this episode of Stage of the Game. Today I'm interviewing my friend Andrew Tejada. Uh, if you'd like to start off by saying a little bit about yourself and how we know each other.
Sure. So Owen and I, we met back in college, SUNY Oneonta, Red Dragons and all that. I don't remember if we met in the theater department as RAs, orientation, somewhere in the middle of all that we met.
I feel like we met during RA training,
That might have been it. And
though we
then,
might have met earlier through Colin. I don't know.
yeah, I don't even remember. It's like 25 years ago, so I don't remember much. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm from Queens originally. Got into theater in high school, playing games much longer than that. And ladies, I have a bank account. Just wanna put that out there.
So you and I were both part of the theater department, but I think we only worked on. I think we worked on two shows together. I think we worked on Cherry Orchard because which you were in, and
Yep,
I was Lightboard Op for, and then we worked on Fuddy Mirrors together because you were the assistant director.
Bloody Mirrors. And then we also didn't we also work on She Stoops?
That's right. I forgot
Yeah,
that. I forgot you.
sitcom.
Forgot that was my first show.
Yeah, I had a blonde wig in that. Very confusing for most of the audience.
That was just a fun show.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess
Mhm.
it's three officially.
Mhm. And then you've done some stuff since then. You ended up working at SUNY Oneonta for a little bit in the admissions office before moving back to New York.
Yeah, I was an admissions counselor for 2 years, touring around the state trying to get people to be Red Dragons. Then I had a stint as a comedy writer for a web app that I think is now dead. Uh, then I was at the Public Theater for a year. I met Daniel Radcliffe.
Very
We
nice.
And by hung out, I meant I would hold the door open for him. He'd say thank you, and I'd try not to cry. And now I work at America Works, which is a job agency for people on welfare. So as you can see, my career path has been steady.
As
Doing
everyone's is in theater.
yeah.
You've started you have a couple groups and things that you do theater stuff with. If you want to
Oh
talk about those a little bit.
yeah, sure. Yeah, because I don't like not having anything to do. I like being as busy as humanly possible. I am technically a part of four theater companies. I'm only going to talk about two of them though.
Mhm.
So my roommate's theater company, Loop Troop, they do a lot of experimental comedies. All the stuff is original works that they put on. So I in that company am the role of Loop Trooperson, and it's a man of determinate age who is just he talks like this and wears a fancy straw hat, and he's the carnival barker for the series. And then I have a company I started called Ask Theater, and that we just started up a couple months ago with our millennial play readings, and we're going to have some more of those later on this year. And Luke Troop is also going with the summer residency right now, and we're doing a concert next Friday of loopy songs, and I'll be doing a slam poem in character as Mr. Luke Trooperson. It'll involve rats and Game of Thrones. That's all I'm gonna. That's all the hint you're gonna get right now. And then
Okay.
we'll be doing a series of short plays framed around Unsinkable, the Titanic musical, the following week.
Hmm.
Yep.
Great. So tell me about your video game experience. When did you first start playing video games?
I first started playing video games when my dad, out of the blue one day, just dropped a PlayStation 1 in my room. I think he thought I read too much, something with more coordination. So he just gave me a PlayStation. I think one of the first games I had was maybe like a Crash Bandicoot game. I think
Respectable.
maybe like two or three. I don't remember. And then I got an N64 not too long after that. I was all about the Pokemon Stadium. Me and my sister would play the it was like an arena challenge of the mini games. Those 9 mini games, we would play for hours, breaking the analog stick multiple times. So that's where it started. The N64, the PlayStation, and I hiss at the Xbox because just
It breaks my heart.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch an Xbox until I was in college.
Well, to be fair, neither did I, but
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it started with those two.
and I asked this to, well, you're the first person I've really interviewed, but the reason I started this whole podcast thing is because I noticed the correlation between theater people and video games. A lot of people I know who work in theater play video games for fun, and what is your take on that? Why do you feel like there might be a connection if there is one?
Yeah, I think it's kind of related to the genre of game you like. So for me, I like playing either one or two games, basically fighting games. I like. So I'm a big fan of Super Smash, Tekken, that kind of series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's kind of just like unplug, turn your brain off, kind of
Mm-hmm.
clear your mind, and clearing your mind lets you form new ideas. Because when you're just doing that muscle memory, hitting those same button combos, you just have to turn off all the non-essential things and focus, and that allows for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is story-based games. I'm a big fan of Telltale right now. I think they're killing it in all their different franchises, and that's just kind of immersing yourself in the story. And Telltale allows that freedom to kind of take it a different direction, and that's kind of what I like to do theatrically. Is just try things in a new way. Don't do the traditional narrative. A B Hamlet Claudius is great and all. It's a great tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
But what can we do to like put a spin on that? What if Claudius is this, or you say this, or treat the ghost like that? Is kind of what Telltale does. It's like say that thing you always wanted to say if you were in the story, like in the story, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, that's fine," you're like, "What? No, I'm gonna do that," and then see what happens.
Yeah, I actually just last week finished season 3 of The Walking Dead,
Uh,
Telltale's Walking Dead.
yeah,
I didn't like it as much as the original two. Um,
yeah. I think the main character of this one was kind of a story kind of a cliche story. The
mhm,
two brothers. Correlate spoilers, guys. Sorry. Uh, um, yeah, the two brothers narrative has kind of been done,
mhm.
and everybody really wanted more Clementine. And from what I hear, season 4 we're going to get full Clementine
That's what I've heard.
to close the series, and that should give it some agency.
Mhm. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the ending of the final one. I don't know. I feel like,
Just sadistic, needlessly sadistic. The
mhm,
end. Whereas like 2 had that like great, you have to choose,
yeah,
that kind of thing. This ending is just like everything was fine, and they just wanted to throw in one last gut punch,
mhm,
just sure that you knew what they were were about.
yeah. And then it made me remember how much I don't like children in apocalyptic situations because they screw everything up with the brother. Like, I mean, Clementine is the one exception to the rule, but
Yeah.
like the other kids, and it was like that and a relationship, like romantic relationships in like zombie apocalypse, it always like no, think with your head, not with your
Yeah.
dick.
Every
uh,
time. That's why Lee was so great. R.I.P. Lee.
mm, hurts. Uh,
Again, spoilers if you guys haven't played Telltale yet.
how season one
Uh,
came out like what, like 5 years ago at this point?
Yeah, yeah. They deserve to be spoiled. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Kenny comes back.
Oh
Katya
my
dies.
god. uh, now, are there any games that you're particularly looking forward to that are coming out?
I'm eternally looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Ooh.
I know that my children will eventually get to play that game when it comes out. Outside of that, I don't. I'm a little out of the loop because I've been doing theater
Hmm.
so much this summer. But there was a game. I think it's called Detroit Becoming Human,
Oh
something like
yeah.
where you're a cyborg and a hostage negotiator.
Hmm.
So you're just this robot who tries to go in there and I think the trailer had another robot holding a woman at knife point, and you were trying to talk this robot down. And it showed that in the trailer you could shoot him,
Hmm.
you could talk him down the ledge, he could shoot you, and there were these all these different branching story paths. And I just think it's interesting. It's interesting first to have a cyborg be a
Hmm.
hostage negotiator, and then to also give it that freedom of where the story can go, just like Telltale.
Hmm.
That's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the E3 trailer for that game, it's really good. It's a completely different take on it's
Oh,
than of what the story's going to be. It's like uh, the cyborg having to choose to like rise up as a resistance of the cyborgs. So
yeah.
it was a completely different story from what we were originally given with the teaser. But yeah, I'd recommend watching it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
A little iRobot-y. That's
Hmm.
cool.
Um, yeah, I'm obviously not gonna get to play it because I don't have a PlayStation. Sad. uh, I will get a PlayStation at one point. Can't afford it right now.
Yeah, I know. It's like me with
Tragic.
the Switch. Like once if they come with that Pokemon RPG,
Hmm.
gotta go get a Switch. They will have broken me.
There, the leak from their investors meeting, I heard it is implying that the Pokemon game is coming out next year. But again, this is a leak from an investors meeting, so there's not much to go on.
Yeah, that might be it. That might be the thing that does it.
Hmm. Uh, let's see. Actually, there's one question I want to ask you that I brought up this up in last week's episode. If anyone watched it, which probably no one did. But I watched this vlog recently about this company, Rooster Teeth, and they went around to the individual employees asking how people got their start in entertainment and what their first job was, and it got me thinking. Do you think that theater is considered part of the entertainment industry? I wanted to get your take on that.
Entertainment. I don't think so. I think when an average person hears that I do theater, for example,
Hmm.
they have so many questions. They're so unfamiliar with the format. They kind of think of theater as just Broadway.
Hmm.
Good theater as Hamilton and Cats, unfortunately, and and they just think of the big names and they think it's all within 10 blocks of Manhattan. That's what they think theater is, where they don't consider all these companies. A lot of people don't even know what the public is. They didn't connect that to Shakespeare in the Park. So I think entertainment industry is they think explosions, they think movie stars, the average person, I think, focuses on that. So they don't really consider how those two relate or how different they are and how they branch together. It's complex in the way that some people don't understand sports statistics
Hmm.
and that all interrelates. I think it's the same thing with understanding the difference between theater and film for a lot of people.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I was saying how I don't think it falls under the entertainment industry, even if like the point of theater is to entertain. But I've always felt like the entertainment industry is so commercialized, whereas like obviously like you said, like Broadway is very commercial nowadays, but like the majority of theater, which is like regional theater, is all non for profit,
Yeah,
and people don't understand that side of it outside of like New York.
yeah. They all think that if you're in theater, you're either broke or making lots of money,
Hmm.
and the truth is somewhere in between those two.
Yeah.
But most likely, you're broke.
Hmm. But that's all the points I have. If you'd like to, lastly, recommend any shows to go see and plug anything that you're working on one more time, I'll give you that opportunity now.
Yeah. In terms of shows, see the cheapest one you can if you're in New York City. If you're outside of New York City, just why not go? look at a local improv show, go look at a local theater company. You may be surprised on how much you actually enjoy real people in a space doing stuff. It's like I know there's so much on Netflix, but there's still a feeling of being there in the room with people who are like sweating and throwing their bodies around that you really can't replicate at home. So I think if you're in there, support local theater, which is a great segue into next Friday at the Medicine Show. We'll be playing. Luke Troop will be playing a bunch of funny original songs. I'll be doing a slam poem in character as Mr. Luke Trubison, and we're gonna have a good time. So if you're around 52nd West 52nd Street between 10th and 11th, it's a third floor walk up, so you get half your steps in that day. Um, Come through. It's at 9 o'clock next Friday. Tickets are 20 bones, and yeah, which is actually real cheap for New York City theater. So do it. What are you scared of?
Well, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to do this with me. Hopefully, we'll get more interviews like this in the future. And thank you to anyone who's listening or watching. And we'll come with a new episode next week. Thank you.
Thank you.